New from K-Tel Records, 22 explosive hits.
Hey everybody, it's me, Steve Schnee, the CD Junkie, and welcome to another episode of T-Shirt of the Day. You get a bonus haircut of the day along with this video, and that's free, totally free for you. My gift to you. Merry Christmas and happy birthday. Anyway, on this episode of T-Shirt of the Day, I am going to talk about a T-shirt that I am wearing about a band that I've loved for many a year. A band that actually had mega hits, yet a majority of their catalog is unheard by anyone outside of their fan base, and that really should change. And the band I'm talking about, they've been around for many, many years. We're going on 50 years now, or close to it. We are talking about 10cc. Oh my goodness. 10cc, what an amazing band. Kevin Godley, Lol Cream, Eric Stewart, and Graham Gouldman. Four incredibly gifted songwriters and vocalists and musicians. This is a band beyond other bands. They were initially backup artists. In fact, all four members appeared on several Neil Sedaka albums in the early 70s, and he encouraged them to move forward. I mean, they'd all been involved in stuff. Eric Stewart was in Mindbenders. Graham Gouldman was songwriter of the Stars. Godley and Cream were involved in so many different things. Godley, Cream, and Eric Stewart came together, and they were hot legs. And then finally, Graham Gouldman came along, and they became 10cc, and they put out some amazing records. Of course, you are going to know I'm Not in Love, The Things We Do for Love, and I'm Mandy, Fly Me, and there's probably more songs that you know. Maybe Life is a Minestrone, Donna, Rubber Bullets, things like that. They started off almost kind of a goofy, quirky band that had a very heavy 50s rock and roll influenced. I mean, they threw everything in there. So you had things like Donna, which sounded like a 50s ballad or something, sung in falsetto. Then, of course, by the time they hit the album, the original soundtrack, it featured, it was getting closer to like prog rock almost. But then again, they didn't go too far into prog rock because they were still very melody oriented. So I remember when I'm Not in Love came out, and I love that song to death. Oh my goodness, I love that song. It still sounds wonderful today. It was very unique. And I remember when it came out, I was thinking about getting the album, and this is when I was 11 or 12, I guess. That was 75. And that's I had seen the other 10cc albums, the first two, but I never really knew what they sounded like. When I heard this, I was going to buy it, but the album was called The Original Soundtrack, and I go, I don't want to buy a soundtrack, so I didn't buy it, and I moved on. For probably a year or so, I didn't realize that that was just the name of the album. It really wasn't a soundtrack. It was just called The Original Soundtrack. But then by the time Deceptive Benz came out, now Godley and Cream had left the band, and Eric Stewart and Graham Gouldman carried on, and they were the more pop-oriented songwriters, the ones who would write the shorter, hookier songs, whereas Godley and Cream were the ones who liked to experiment more, creating their own instruments. In fact, Kevin Godley actually created an instrument he called the gizmo. Didn't really catch on, but that may have been both of them. I'm not sure. Anyway, wonderful band, 10cc. You know them, of course, like I said, for the songs I mentioned. Stewart and Gouldman actually continued for several years. Deceptive Benz is one of my favorite albums, but I also love the album 10 out of 10, which is probably my second favorite album behind Deceptive Benz. Really, definitely, if you haven't delved into the world of 10cc, there's so much wonder, so much imagination in that music, so much creativity, so many musical journeys that not many other bands took. Really, I highly recommend them. Anyway, that's it for this episode of T-Shirt of the Day. Let me know what you think about 10cc in the comments below. Let me know if you want me to do more T-Shirt of the Day videos. Actually, I'm still going to do them, but, I still want to ask. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, to ring that bell for future notifications. And until the next time, remember me, the recently shorn Steve Schnee, the CD Junkie.